people advocated for him, his life got better. The commandant of the camp, Colonel Ocean, said, why are all these letters coming in? I better be careful. This guy better get enough food. I better be careful. Kerensky said it invigorated him. He knew people were, and if you listen to Reagan, in Perm Camp 35, when Reagan gave, remember the Evil Empire speech? They were tapping on the wall in Perm 35, telling everybody that Reagan had spoken out. And secretaries of state in both administrations used to go to Moscow. Secretary Schultz would go to Moscow. They would meet with the dissidents, and if the dissident was in jail, they would sometimes go to their house, go up into the apartment and meet with them. So not to speak out. Now, I don't know Mr. Tillerson, and I'm sure he's going to do a good job. I hope he does. He has an impressive background. It's the beginning. But he really has to, because, you know, to whom much is given, much is required. He's been given one of the greatest honors to be the Secretary of the State of America, and not to advocate for the persecuted in China, the persecuted in the Yazidi girls who have been taken hostage in Raqqa, to not to advocate for Asa Bibi, the Christian Catholic woman who's been in jail for 6 years under a death sentence in Pakistan. 6 years. 6 years. And not to say anything about it. He's got to. This is, history will judge him poorly. You need to raise these. And I'll end with the last thing. You can do it, Senator, in a respectful way. And let me give you an example. President Reagan said, tear down that wall. President Reagan called him the evil empire. President Reagan went to the Danilov Monastery and stood next to Gorbachev and spoke out for religious freedom. If you recall, who came to Reagan's funeral? Gorbachev. Gorbachev respected Reagan for, he respected him for speaking. He did it respectfully. He didn't do anything. But I think the model is Ronald Reagan speaking out at all times. But it really, just call Sharansky the next time it's the thing. I'll say, Nathan, tell me, and he'll tell you it is so powerful. And so every person, and lastly, I think when congressional delegations should go, in the old days, they would always call it down. Republican, Tom Lantos never left the country without having a list of dissidents who were imprisoned in that country. And the first thing that former Congressman Lantos would do is he'd give them the list. I mean, it was non-negotiable, and they would get it out of the way. But it made a difference. It makes a big difference.
Well, in that, like another leader, you have a hard out here at 2:50. So I wanted to ask you one more question. I know you had mentioned briefly in the testimony about a congressional delegation that was allowed to go into Tibet, and I wanted you just to talk about that a little bit further. The conditions as the new administration develops its foreign policy. What are the most critical priorities in terms of the Tibet-specific policy? And I think to both of you, by the way.
Thank